Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a little tip I have for protecting your terrain. One of the most common questions I get on my videos is how to best protect your trees and any other fragile terrain you might have. And in the past, my answer was to simply spray it down with layer after layer of PVA glue and even some hairspray. But even after coating it multiple times, your terrain was still pretty fragile and you often would have to make repairs to your armatures and your trees. Well, recently I switched to spraying down all my trees with the Flex Seal rubberized spray that you can get from any hardware store or even off Amazon. And this stuff is a great way to coat and really protect your fragile terrain. Now, there is a bit of a trade-off using this technique, as I've noticed, especially on my sagebrush armatures. Some areas the rubber spray will pool and will leave a little yellowed discoloration. To me, it's not that big of a deal because it really protects my sagebrush trees better than any technique I've had before. I've taken my trees to game stores and friends' houses for some wargaming, and I haven't noticed any damage to these trees after multiple game sessions. And I really couldn't say the same about my previous methods of protecting trees, which was just with PVA glue. So I'm just going to show you how I apply this Flex Seal spray to my terrain and hopefully give you a nice alternative to better protect your terrain. So sit tight and here we go. So here I have a nice sagebrush armature, which I got from the model tree store. I'll be talking about them in the future. They're a great source for sage armatures, and I've applied some plant decor from Michaels to this armature using some 3M adhesive spray. And now I'm just going to take this Flex Seal and I'm going to liberally spray it all over the armature and all over this natural, very delicate material that again I got from my local craft store. Alright, this stuff is super delicate, but once you spray it down with a coat of Flex Seal, it becomes really strong. And in fact, the rubber nature of it allows you to take this plant material and bend it around and create kind of denser clumps of foliage on your tree. And just gives you the opportunity to play around with your overall shape and silhouette of your armature. And then I'm going to go here and I'm spraying it down with a light brown, a kind of tan brown, for the branches, since again they were really stark white and it would stick out once I applied my foam flock to the tree. So there we go, we'll let that dry. And then I'm going to take my 3M adhesive spray once that spray paint has dried, and I'm going to coat the tops of this plant material under structure of my foliage here. And I'm just going to apply some nice woodland scenics, some dark green flock. I'm trying to make what looks like a juniper tree or maybe an umbrella pine, some Mediterranean scraggly pine tree. And so I'm just coating as much as I can of that understructure made by that natural material. And here we go. I'm pretty happy with the structure of this juniper tree. I notice oftentimes the trunks are pretty scraggly and thin on juniper trees. Then you have this kind of massive canopy at the top. They always seem a little bit lopsided. So I think that this armature captures that pretty well. And now that I got the silhouette that I want for my juniper tree, I'm going to spray it down with a second layer of that Flex Seal rubberized spray, going all over the top of the canopy I created. Now, you do not want this to be the final layer. Again, it's hard to get a coat of this without having some areas pool a little bit more than others. And I noticed that on the foam flock in some places, there were kind of raised or discolored areas. All right, only in a very few, but you definitely want to go over it with a highlight, either go over it with some more flock of the same color, or as I'm going to do here, go over it with a slightly brighter green, and that will help hide any of the areas in which the Flex Seal pooled. So here I'm spraying it with some 3M spray. I'm going to be taking a Woodland Scenics fine flock here. It's kind of a bright green. I'll be putting this flock everywhere that I think light will be hitting it. And when it dries, a highlight layer will definitely cover up any of the abnormalities of the Flex Seal and give you a pretty natural looking tree. So here's the final product of my juniper bush, and I think it looks pretty natural. Even after spraying it with several layers of the Flex Seal, there's only a few spots on the trunk that are a little discolored, but I was able to go over it with a wash, and I don't think it's very noticeable. And instead, I will have a piece of terrain here that is nigh indestructible. I've dropped these on the ground. I've had these kind of tumble around in my car, and I haven't noticed any loss of flock or foliage on these trees that I've applied this Flex Seal. So I think I'm going to be using this on any terrain that is leaving my house to game stores or to conventions, things like that. That being said, I don't think I'd use this spray on dioramas or any high quality centerpiece, as you do have to compromise a little bit of the quality for the sake of durability. But anyway, hopefully that gives you another alternative, another way to protect your terrain that you work hard to create. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave me a question or comment below, and I will see you all soon with a new video. Take care.